In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to use URL parameters to delete posts. So I'm going to click on the link for my posts, and I'm going to see that there is an accidental duplicate post here, or maybe there's some other posts that I want to delete also. Just as a quick reminder, all of these posts are stored in the post database. So here are the IDs for the post, the body of the post, the timestamp, and the user ID. I only have 2 users so far, so it's just 1 or 2 for the user ID. Going back to here, I would like to add a button in each row that says delete that will allow the user to delete the post. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to create a URL route. I'm going to create a new route that accepts a URL param. I'm going to create a delete post route, and then you're going to use a question mark, and the question mark is the way you can provide URL parameters, so you can provide some arguments just like you would for a function. I'm going to be able to choose the ID of the post, so maybe say like I want to delete posts with the ID number 2, then you would hit enter and it would delete that post. Now, users are never going to want to do that. They're never going to want to delete things by typing and stuff like that. That's why you would have a button that has a URL, and then it would just go straight to that. So we're going to construct the URL for the user. All they have to do is click the button, and then it will do this. So I'm going to go into Flask app right now and start to create the route. Before I do that, I'm going to import one extra thing that we haven't used before. Oops. What am I doing? Okay. Copy that line, and then I'm going to keep it in alphabetical order. Alphabetical order after this. I'm going to change this to say request. So from Flask, import request. And request is something that we're going to use to get the arguments that were passed in, so to figure out what the ID was. So I'll go down to my routes, go in alphabetical order, create a new route, and it's going to be called /delete post. Now I'm going to define a function. It's going to have the same name, delete post. And now in here I have to figure out what the post ID is. So I'm going to use that request that I just imported, and I'm going to get the args. Args is short for arguments. So this is going to get those URL arguments that were passed in. So in the example that I gave, it would be the ID, and I'm going to try and get the one that's called ID. Now it's possible, especially if someone is manually typing in something to try and mess up the website, that they would not provide a correct ID, or maybe they just wouldn't provide an ID at all. So you want to make sure and say if there's not a post ID, then you just want to redirect that person. So we can either redirect them back to the posts page or the URL or the home page. So I'll just send them back to the, well actually let's send them to the home page. Alright. Alright, oh, except the home page does want you to be able to type in posts so that you can display them on the home page's template. So right here I should probably add something that says posts equals, but the only way this is going to happen is if someone is trying to type something incorrect. So for right now I'll just leave that. If someone tries to type something incorrect, they'll go to a blank home page. Alright, so next thing, I'm going to look up this post to see if I can get it from the database. So I'll use the post class, make a query. This is some of the magic of SQL alchemy that allows you to query the database just by using this post class that we created up here. This post class that relies on the database model class. Alright, it's coming back to that, so we're going to query it, and we're going to look for any post that has the ID that's equal to this post ID. Now there should only be one because every single post has a different ID, but the database doesn't know that ahead of time, so I have to type in the first one. So there should only be one, and then I'll type in first. Or there could be none if that post isn't in the database. So now I want to say if there's not a post because it wasn't in the database, and one other thing I want to check, or if the post's author, if their ID is not equal to the current user's ID, then I definitely want to just send this person back to the home page, because this person is trying to do something they shouldn't by manually typing in URLs, right? You should only be trying to delete a post that you own. So if we get to this line, that means that the post is something that the current user owns and they should be able to delete it. So you can create it. Use a database session and you can delete the post. And any changes that you make using the session, you have to commit them. And then we will just return the person back to the only place that I'm planning to put these delete buttons is on the posts page. So I'll redirect back to the posts page, and I want to make sure that they can see their posts. So I'm going to say current user.posts. Remember, you have to pass in this variable right here because the template for the posts page is expecting some posts so that it can make that table with all the posts. Alright, so this should work here. I'm going to save and restart the app. Now, currently I don't have any buttons yet, so if I go back to posts right here, I'm not going to be able to click on anything, but it should work if I just go up here and click delete a post with ID of 2. So let's go quickly see which one. So here's another exciting post. That's the one that has ID of 2. So if I try to just manually delete it by typing in this and hitting enter, so notice how it's gone. It's no longer there at the bottom. Let's see if I can try and delete someone else's post. So I can see that user number 2 is post number 5. So let's see what would try to happen if I try to just manually delete somebody's post. Well, that is definitely not good up there. I don't know why it's showing all those posts up here. Alright, so delete post. And I said that that post ID is equal to 5, I think, the one that I did not own. And so if I hit enter, notice how it just sends me back to the home page. All right. Okay, let's go to, oh, oops, that's why I just realized why all that stuff was up there. You do not have to pass in this. This is just going to send them to the posts function, and the post function is going to take care of getting all the posts and passing it into the template. I was getting confused. All right, there we go. Save that, restart, go back here, click on the My Posts. Okay, so I see that I can do the deletions, but it doesn't look good because I don't have buttons to do it. So now I want to go into the HTML for the posts, and I want to add a section to the table, so at the end of the table. So in this case, I'm going to add a hyperlink, and so I'll fill that in just a second. So the hyperlink is just going to say delete. And in this hyperlink, I want to create the hyperlink that I was just talking about. So I'm going to use that by using Jinja. So I'm going to get a URL for the delete post route, for the delete post function, I mean. But I don't just want to use delete post, I also want to specify the ID. So I'm going to say the ID is going to be equal to post.id. And so remember, I'm in the middle of a loop right now, and so I should be able to refer to the post and its ID. And what this will do is it will add that onto the URL just with a question mark. And okay, so this should be able to create a URL for me that's just the exact same as the one that I typed in manually. So I will save this, restart. Now if we go back, take a look at the post, so I will refresh this page by going back to the home. So now I see that there is a link right here, and when I hover over it, I can see down in the bottom left corner what it's going to do. So I can see that down here in this section right here, there's a URL, and it says it's going to try and delete post with an ID of 11. If I hover over this one, it's going to try and delete post with an ID of 8. And then I can see all these different URLs right here. So here's the duplicate one. I'm going to go ahead and click one of them, and it's deleted. All right, so everything looks pretty good. One thing you might want to do is make this look more like a button or something that looks a little bit more obviously like delete. I think that it's possible to add a class of button using Bootstrap. Let's give it a quick try. It might not work. So if I go into the here, I can give this link a class. So I can say that it has a class of button. And then not only that, I would like it to have button danger. That will make it red. All right, let's see if this works. Well, not exactly red, but it's using the colors from the theme. The button's a little bit bigger maybe than I would have liked, but you can look at other ways, like if you're interested in Bootstrap and the CSS, you can look at the other classes that would make this button look a little bit better or more like what you're looking for. But it looks like it works. I'll try to delete one more thing. All right, so that's how you can create a delete button by using URL params with a new route.